Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's see, we are back on the record. It is 4:52 p.m. We're here regarding People of the State of Colorado versus Kevin Eastman, 20 CR 461. We are outside the presence of the jury. The parties are all present. And before we go any further, I wanted to make a record that we did have jury deliberation question number 8, which I believe the parties were advised of. And it simply requested that we provide the jurors with a new copy of verdict form number 4. I provided that to the jurors, and based on the stipulation of the parties, I excluded that jury verdict question with regard to domestic violence. So, Mr. Wren, first, did you want to make a record with regard to compliance with the Victims' Rights Act?
We are in compliance with the Victims' Rights Act, Your Honor.
Thank you. I don't know, they both physically present in court?
Mr. Stan Sessions is present in court. Other victim representatives, I believe, are watching via live stream.
Okay.
They were notified of the verdict and weren't able to attend in person, but they are watching as far as I understand.
Great. And it's my understanding that juror number 16, alternate juror number 16, is physically present in court. Thank you for joining us. It's my understanding that alternate juror numbers 3 and 9 are joining us by WebEx. I'm hoping that everybody can hear me. If juror number 3 and 9 can unmute themselves and confirm that you can hear me. The way to unmute yourself is to hit *6 on WebEx. We'll manually unmute who I think are.
I can hear you.
And that's alternate juror who? What is your juror number?
Juror number 3.
Thank you, juror number 3, for joining us. Juror number 9, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, thank you for joining us. So it's my understanding that the jury has advised that they have reached a verdict. Any issues before we bring the jurors in?
No, Your Honor.
No, thank you.
So it's pretty obvious that this is a very emotional case for everybody, and I would just respectfully ask that those of you who are joining us on WebEx and those of you who are joining us in person, that you try to contain your emotions to the best of your ability during the reading of the verdicts and subsequent to the reading of the verdicts. When the jurors come in, if everybody can please rise.
Please rise.
Good afternoon, you're welcome to be seated. Juror number 4, have you been selected to be the jury foreperson? And just to let everybody know, we are joined by alternate juror number 16, who is physically present in court. Juror number 3 and 9 is joining us by WebEx, and they can hear us. And juror number 11 is going to be notified at his request after the fact. Without telling us the verdict, juror number 4, do you believe the jury has reached a unanimous verdict as to all verdict counts in this case? And if you can please hand Ms. Schwint the original verdict forms and the instructions, please. So dispensing with the caption as it relates to count number 1, murder in the first degree involving victim Stanley Scott Sessions. The verdict reads, we the jury find the defendant Kevin Dean Eastman guilty of murder in the first degree after deliberation. As it relates to count number 2, murder in the first degree involving victim Heather Frank. The verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kevin Dean Eastman, guilty of murder in the first degree after deliberation. The jury further found that this was an act of domestic violence. As it relates to count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body relating to victim Stanley Scott Sessions, the verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kevin Dean Eastman, guilty of tampering with a deceased human body. As it relates to count number 4, tampering with a deceased human body involving victim Heather Frank, the verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kevin Dean Eastman, guilty of tampering with a deceased human body. As it relates to count number 5, tampering with physical evidence involving victim Stanley Scott Sessions, the verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kevin Dean Eastman, guilty of tampering with physical evidence. And as it relates to count number 6, the verdict reads as follows. As it relates to tampering with physical evidence involving victim Heather Frank, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kevin Dean Eastman, guilty of tampering with physical evidence. I'm now going to ask each of you individually if these are your verdicts. Juror number 1, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 2, are these your verdicts? Juror number 4, are these your verdicts? Juror number 5, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 6, are these your verdicts? Juror number 7, are these your verdicts? Juror number 8, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 10, are these your verdicts? Juror number 12, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 13, are these your verdicts? Juror number 14, are these your verdicts? And juror number 15, are these your verdicts? And the court will enter judgment consistent with the verdicts in this case. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the thanks of the court. The question may arise whether you may discuss this case with the lawyers, with the defendant, or other persons. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to anyone is entirely your own decision. It is proper for others to discuss the case with you, and you may talk with them, but you need not. If you talk to them, you may tell them as much or as little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If any person persists in discussing this case over your objection or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report it to me. Let me speak, I think, on behalf of my staff and the lawyers and myself that we asked more of you than we ask of typically of most jurors, given the seriousness of the charges and the length of this trial and your commitment to this case. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of us. Most people come to jury duty a bit skeptical about the system. They have things going on in their lives and they'd rather not be here. And I hope you walk away from this experience with the understanding that while it certainly is not a perfect system, it's not perfect because we're all human, right? And we're not perfect. But we try to ensure that everybody has a fair and impartial trial. And I very much appreciate your commitment and dedication. We realize that we took you away from your family and school and other obligations, and this was a huge commitment on your part. I say that very seriously, that we thank you for your time. This is certainly not a perfect system, and I would like to spend a few moments in the jury room to make sure that you have no additional questions. I would like to give you a certificate for your service. Given not only the seriousness of this case, but the contents that you had to hear and see, I would like to give you what we commonly refer to as a trauma packet, which provides you with certain resources, many of which are free, that you can utilize to kind of debrief from this case, and so I would like to give that to you. If you don't want to use it, you're under no obligation to use it, but I do want to give it to you. So I will be back in the jury room in a couple of minutes. I will be able to report to you then when the sentencing date is going to be. Many of you may want to attend, and while you have no role other than simply listening to the sentencing, you'll certainly have an ability to be present for that sentencing hearing, and we'll make that available both by WebEx or in person for you. So I'll report that date and time when I go back into the jury room, okay? Okay, I'll see you back there in a few minutes. Let's all please rise for the jury. Okay, you're welcome to be seated. Well, the court can certainly proceed to immediate sentencing now. I'm assuming that there are people on behalf of the victims in this case, and Mr. Eastman that may want to speak. Do the parties want to continue this matter for sentencing tomorrow?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
available.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not available tomorrow. Hold on a second.
We were scheduled for trial tomorrow, so you should be
Oh,
available.
sorry. Can we go to immediate sentencing today, please?
I don't think that's respectful to victims who may want to collect their thoughts and may want to have more time to speak. Other than now, it's 5:04 p.m. And so we're not going to proceed to immediate sentencing, but I can do it as early as tomorrow morning at 9:30. I have an 8:30 docket.
Yes, that's fine.
Does that work for the victim representatives?
It works for Mr. Sessions. We've been trying to reach the McLaughlin boys, and we haven't been able to confirm that that works, but I would ask the court to go ahead and set that time.
Okay. I have an 8:30 docket. It should take about 30 minutes. It may take a little bit longer, so you want to start at 9:30 and we have as long as the parties need?
That's fine.
That's fine.